click on that survey, so we get that data. We keep these classes free. I love it. 3, 2, 1. Hey, y'all, this is Gail. We're doing chair yoga for fall prevention. That kind of sounds weird, doesn't it? How can you do chair yoga for fall prevention? Well, we use the chair as pieces of gear to help us facilitate that. So what I'm going to do is stand up, move this front chair out of the way, but you know what? I'm going to come back up to the front when we do that. Some energy work, it's a guided rest, relaxation, and that gratitude practice. So here we go. Yay. And I'll also come online at the very end for any additional questions, concerns that you might have today. Make sure that is out of the camera. Okay, very good. So I'm starting standing. How about y'all stand too? I've got my sandals on today. They're called earthing sandals. They're supposed to make you feel like you're one with the earth. So they don't have any lift on them. I don't know. I've been wearing them for the past couple of years and they've made my feet stronger. So I'm really tickled with that. So I'm teaching in them today. So it's going to be weird, right? Right. First, we're going to do the breath. So what I invite you to do, whether you're seated or standing. Now, if you're seated, you come away from the back of the chair so you engage those tall posture muscles, okay? Let's point our toes forward, kind of at, like they look like number 11s here, all right? And I invite you to feel your feet onto the floor. So what does that mean? Well, just press down and then imagine there's a wrinkle here on your floor. Of course, we hate wrinkles, right? We're going to press down and away. So we activate the musculature in the lower body. So from here, place your hands, kind of find your belly button, and place a hand below the belly button, above the belly button. Wiggle those shoulders just a little bit, knees softly bent. And I invite you to breathe in and expand the belly outward. So let's breathe in. And as we exhale, draw the belly button towards the spine. Get all the air out of the lungs. And again, inhale, belly and chest expand. Press those feet into the floor. Exhale, belly button towards the spine. Again, breathe in, belly big. And exhaling. One more time. Here we go. Breathe in, belly big. And exhale. Beautiful. All right. Maybe just kind of move a little bit side to side here. Make sure you don't lock those knees. We're going to do a warm-up first. Then we'll do the strengthening workout, and then we'll do basically a cool down. So it follows kind of like a traditional aerobics workout. I'm going to put on my Fitbit here to see how many calories we burned today. So let me get that started, and we'll get started. So let's first shake those wrists and bend those knees a little bit too. If you're seated, do little heel lifts, little calf pumps. All right, from here, let's cup the hands and swing the arms and bend the knees at the same time if you can. Now, if you can't quite coordinate that, that's okay. Just do the arm swings. Kind of lubricating those shoulders today. Let's do alternate them. Sometimes I can go a bit higher with my arms when I alternate these arm swings. Very good. Again, kind of lubricating that spine a little bit. Now, if you're able, now you probably can't do this seated on the chair, but if you're able, standing, we'll take one arm out to letter T and then cross them, and then out in front. Again, we're bending the knees a little bit of a twist. This makes you dizzy to look side to side. Look forward instead. My shoulders are talking today. They're going snap, crackle, pop. That's how it is. Two more. 2 and 1, and then come back to the center. From here, let's just spin those wrists. That's good for carpal tunnel. And reverse. Next, we'll do a extension and flexion of the spine. It's cat-cow. We do that standing. We do that seated. So I'm going to bring my feet a little bit wider apart, knees bent. You can bring your feet a little wider apart on the chair also. I do have folks that do this class seated in the chair, so just know I'll give some cues for that. So we're going to interlace the fingers and then push the fingers away and then curve your spine to the back of the room or the back of the chair. So a little cat back here. Stretching those fingers also. Keep it between easy and out. Then from here, tall, tall, tall posture. Bring the hands kind of at the top of the head. And if it's available, sky high. Again, if you start to bend the elbows, go to a place where the arms are somewhat straight instead of bent elbows, okay? And then release the hands, make fists. Place the fists on the upper behind so it's a seated or standing back bend. If you're on the chair, maybe you're grabbing the back of the chair spokes instead. Either way is okay. Let's do that again. Interlace the fingers, curve the spine to the back of the room. Bend those knees a little bit. Very good. Bring it here to the top of the head. Legs are a little bit more straight if you're standing up today. And then if you can go a little sky high, go a little sky high also. And then release the fingers, make fists, place them on the top of your behind, press your hips forward, your chest where the wall meets the ceiling, little standing, little seated back bend. Very nice. All right, just kind of shake here. We also do the lymphatic drainage in this class. So we're going to start that here at this section. So we're going to shake up. It's called the Qigong Detox, the Big Six. Turn it to the side. Turn it to the other side. Come back to the center, bend those elbows. Flap the wrists. That's good for that carpal tunnel. Very good. From here, let's take our hands, and I'll come up to the camera a little bit here. We're going to come to our collarbone and stroke across the collarbone. So this is one of the areas where we have a lot of lymph nests, lymph nodes. So we're doing this in a certain sequence in order to have lymphatic drainage. Very good. Let's do the other side. So what does this have to do with fall prevention? Well, sometimes folks have swollen ankles, edema in the feet, so they don't have the range of motion, and they have lots of stiff stuff going on with the ankles, shins, feet. This helps to reduce the swelling on the feet. But you got to do 1 through 6 to do this. This is area 1, collarbones. Next area is you take your hands, bring them in front and back of your ears, stroke down the side of the neck, and then the side of the jawline. So in front and back of the ear, kind of like Spock hands if you can. And then your fingers are getting back here also where a lot of lymph nests are in the back of the head, the occiput. Let's do the other side. Again, you're stroking across. You can also tap. I find it's more effective for me personally is to stroke it across. And then, of course, don't forget down the side of the neck. So this helps reduce brain fog because, you know, we have cerebral spinal fluid that empties through our circulatory system. But the only way it can do that is if it doesn't have a clogged pipe. So some folks have brain fog because they're not able to effectively drain the lymphatic fluids from their brain. All right, next place is you kind of make a letter L with your hand and go into your armpit. Your thumb here is at your pectoral, so you kind of squeeze into there. You can also tap or make a fist and pound a little bit. But again, when men and women get breast cancer, they check these lymph node nests, the pectorals, the armpit area, to see did the cancer spread. So we're just kind of naturally letting go of the waste held in those lymph node nests. Let's do the other side, okay? You can just do a simple pulse into the armpit, or maybe you're tapping, maybe you're squeezing and rubbing, maybe you're doing a little fit. You get to do you, okay? Sometimes when you do this lymphatic drainage, you'll notice a lot of sinus drainage kind of releasing from your body. All right, next area number, see, we got 1, 2, 3, we have 4, is the stomach area. So that's considered to be your second brain, your gut health. So you can just take your hands and play a little percussion. You can chop, you can wiggle. Just get some kind of movement going on here, okay? Again, this helps your gut health. Also, it helps your brain. Now, I got to bring my feet a little wide on this one. So this sometimes is easier to do seated, but we're going to do what we can do. Where the leg inserts into the torso, we have this little hip crease here. It's called the inguinal crease. In Tai Chi, we would call it the qua. So let's chop the qua. So men that get prostate cancer, women that get uterine ovary cancer, this is an area they test to see did the cancer move to these lymph node nests. So let's chop the qua. Very good. Now I'm going to bring my feet in a little bit. So again, this one might be easier seated on the chair, but I'm going to do this standing. I'm going to bend my knees, take my hands, stroke the back of my knees. I have my thumbs here on the side also, which helps to stimulate the stomach meridian, which helps lessen knee pain. So you get a 2 for the price of 1 here. I'm getting the bottoms of my hamstrings, the back of my knee, and the top of my calves when I do this. Very good. Come back. Let's clap our hands. Get some heat into the hands. A little circulation. And let's continue our warm-up. So this warm-up sequence is designed to promote relaxation, flexibility, and overall well-being. From here, if you have 2 chairs or a chair and a wall, or if you're seated, we're going to be basically doing lateral movement, side-to-side movement. We don't normally walk this way, but there's times where we need to recruit these muscles in this manner. Very good. Now, if you want to add a little more to that, maybe you can wave the arms. Maybe you have to hang onto the chair. That works too. Either way, okay? A little cardiac effect going on here. Hands above the heart typically increases your heart rate. And slow it down. All right, on our feet, let's shake the legs side to side. That helps to lessen leg cramps. And then basically knees up, march in place. And then from here, you can go beside the chair. And again, you're away from the back of the chair with this next one. From here, you can either have your heel on the floor if you're seated or standing, or lift the leg up, and we're going to be pointing and flexing. So again, ankle isolation to help walk better. Often we're very, very stiff one side versus the other. And then let's go over to the other side. Let's do the other one. Here we go. Point and flex. Whether your heel is on the floor or not, the calf pump action here helps to lessen blood glucose. That's a study that they came out with here last year at University of Houston, calf pumping. It's also considered in traditional Chinese medicine to be your second heart to pump those calves. So after a meal, you can't go and do that quick little walk. Pump those calves, okay? And then let's go back to the other one again. So this time, I invite you to do your ankle rotations. You're rotating inward and out. So try to do just the ankle. Sometimes, I know on my left one, my leg is always kind of in because I don't have that fine motor skill on my left side versus my right side. So yoga and Tai Chi are great for like noticing what's going on with your body, yeah? It brings you a little bit more awareness, and it takes time. And pause and rotate it out. Notice if you're rotating out, it makes a different shape than the rotating in. Notice if your shin is starting to talk to you like, oh, I'm getting tired, maybe. And release. Let's do the other side. Again, rotate in first. Ooh, my feet like to pop on this one. Oh, there it went. You probably couldn't hear it, but anyway, I heard it. Of course, here in South Texas, I have my air conditioner on, so woo, you won't hear the neighbors mowing their lawn, hopefully. And pause and reverse. I really have to concentrate doing the reverse on this one. Feels a little spicy. And that's it. Again, kind of march in place here. Kind of let go of that muscle memory of what we just did. And then feet firm, shake the legs once again. So now we're going to test our balance before we do the strengthening moves, okay? So I'm going to come over to one of the chairs here in the room. And I'm pointing my toes towards the corner. It's called Golden Rooster. It's a Tai Chi movement we do in our chair Tai Chi class. We use the chair for balance. What we're going to do is bend the knees. And then we're going to take our tailbone, mine's kind of flared out. I'm going to tuck it under. I'm going to have a hand, either the palm or I'm gripping the chair. What I'm going to do with the arm that's to the outside, do that bent elbow. And then I'm going to come up either on my toe or raise the leg up in the air, pointing the toe down. So I'm noticing what's going on with my hip. Maybe I have to have it lower, maybe not. And then can I release the chair or not? And release. So I've got some little tension going on my side today. You're either going to walk over to the other side of the chair if you only have one chair, or come over to the other chair. What's that? And again, we're going to bend the knees, so we root down, basically. We tuck that tailbone under, bend the elbow, either, tippy toe on the floor or leg up in the air. And again, I'm wiggly on this side. So notice you're wiggling one side versus the other. Woo! And release. Did y'all hold your breath? I always hold my breath when I do this. Okay, so for this next one, it's called Balance the Pearl. So again, return towards the corner of the back of the chair, bending the knees, and I always forget how to do this one. We're going to take the leg up, and then if we're able, both hands up. Usually we have a block in between. Yeah, and release. Let's go over to the other side. Do that with a block this time. I don't think I can. Bend the knees, roll that tailbone under, lift the leg up. Whoa, mine's a swaying pearl today. Again, notice what you notice, all right? Very good. All right, so this next part, we're going to be doing the strengthening part. So I'm going to move my chair that has all my gear to the center of the room. And let's sit down on the chair. So when you sit down, notice how you sit down. Do you sit down with holding on to something or not? Because I just probably said it, you're probably being very conscious of what you're doing, right? Right. Okay. So from here, you'll need that strap. So what I like to do with the straps, most straps have buckles on them. So I'll take that strap and I'll thread into the buckle. Let's see if I can do that. And I get to a kind of a loopy size here. And then I open up the buckle and thread it in the middle. If you don't have a buckle, that's okay too. You can just do a regular shoe tie type of knot. But, getting a yoga strap with a buckle is very beneficial for these next strength moves. All right, so what we'll do with that yoga strap, again, if you don't have a buckle on your yoga strap, what you'll generally do, or a TheraBand, you'll bring it on top, bring it underneath, and you do your regular shoelace bow, okay? Those of us that have the buckle, let's go ahead and step into the buckle. Yep. And get everything kind of straight there. And maybe make sure that buckle's not on your leg. It's going to knob you a little bit. And I'm away from the back of the chair, so I'm engaging those tall posture muscles. So usually it's about 2 fist distances apart or a little bit less. So mine's a little bit bigger than that. So I'm going to kind of choke up on that strap a bit. And I'm away from the knee about 6 inches, the tip of the knee. So kind of here, not in the mid-thigh, but, a little bit more to a third of the thigh. Yeah. So what we'll do is press firmly into the floor with the feet. So when you do that, you should notice your contraction of your quadriceps, maybe your behind, maybe the low back. All right, so just again, imagine there's a wrinkle here in the room. We're pressing down and away, so pressing into the opposite ends of the room with our musculature of our behind, our legs, our calves, our feet. Again, press into, if you need a little guidance, hands on the legs to encourage you to press down into the floor also. So notice what you notice here. Notice that contraction energy happening. So again, these are hip strengthening movements, which we need to prevent falls and release. So typically what happens when we get a little bit older, we lose muscle mass. We lose our behind. So we're trying to encourage you to use your behind, increase your muscle mass by these movements. So next, what we'll do is we're going to take one of our legs and heel toe it in. And I'm here on the side of my foot into my leg that's not just into the floor. So we have a little angle going on here. You know what? I'm going to increase the width of my yoga strap circumference. So I just kind of let up on the strap a little bit. If you have a TheraBand, it's going to be a little bit more kind of bouncy here, yeah? So again, what I invite you to do is press the stabilized leg firm into the floor so that's all kind of contracted. And this other leg, again, wrinkles, we don't like them, so we're going to push them away. Now what you might do is hang on to the back of the chair while you do this, or if you want more, if you don't have the gear today, you press down on the hand, on the stable leg, and you press away with you trying to press into the leg, if that makes any sense, or you push into it with the hand on the outside if you don't have the gear. You can also do this if you have the gear to make it a little bit more. So we try to hold the positions 30 seconds to a minute, 12 seconds to encourage bone growth. You only get bone growth by contracted muscles because contracted muscles stimulate bone growth. So if you have osteopenia, osteoporosis, these movements are good for you to help decrease the porosity, the bigness of the holes in your bones. How do you know if you have osteopenia or osteoporosis? One clear clue is if you've lost height as you have grown older, or if you've had a DEXA scan, right? Or you've been measured in the doctor's office, oh, you're an inch shorter than what you normally are. And release. Woo! Now, that may have held that a little long. So just kind of stomp those feet. Did I hold that too long, Louise? Yeah, she's saying yes. All right, let's do the other side. Again, press outward, press down, just to kind of get that context of contracted energy going on here, and kind of notice how that feels. Again, this is our second time to press down and away. Or is it our third time? No, it's our second time. And then release that. Now, let's take the other foot. Let's heel toe it in. So this is basically a variation of Pilates yoga clam posture where we lie on our side and we have the legs stacked and we raise one knee up and then the other. You can also put a weight in your hand, have it on the side of the thigh for more contraction energy with the weight. Adding weight to is a progressive way to make clam a little bit harder. But this gets spicy too, okay? So press down into the stable leg and then press the other leg away into the strap. Press into it if you want to add some more. If you've got that TheraBand, what you can do instead is pulse out and in instead. So again, different types of things going on here depending on the pieces of gear that you have available to you. Woo! Again, I get to talk because we want to stay here for about 30 seconds. Y'all get to hear me yak, yak, yak. Maybe it takes your mind off. Maybe it doesn't help at all. And release. Woo! All right, bring it back to the center. Again, stomp those feet. Shake those legs. Stomp those feet again. Okay, now let's come out of our strap. So one of the things that causes us to fall is that we don't have that big toe flexibility anymore. So our next posture is going to help us understand what's going on with that big toe, okay? So I'm going to get out of my strap here. For some of us that have, let me think here, taller chairs, shorter legs, you may have to have a foot on a yoga block. Some of us, that doesn't have to happen, but if you have arms on your chairs, you may have to do this sideways. Some folks will do this posture with the behind off and the leg coming back, so they're facing forward. But I'm going to demonstrate this sideways because that's a better way for you to kind of see what's going on with the pose. So it's basically you're going to turn over to one side of your chair. And I try to have the knees be at that kind of 90-degree angle. Oftentimes what I notice for me is I'm hinged forward. So always got to think about shoulder over the hip, ear over the shoulder, okay? We're going to take a bun off the chair. So this is a variation of Warrior One, crescent lunge posture. So I got my bun coming off. Now I'm going to have me leaning forward to begin with. I'm going to take this leg either in front or scooch it back a little bit. I'm going to scooch it back a little bit. And then I'll get your bottom kind of okay, comfortable in the chair. That's like impossible. Again, so you may be feeling some activation of your quadricep, your hip flexors, some stuff going in the low back. So on the curly toe. So we're stretching, we're trying to understand that flexibility of that toe. So from here, we're going to make it a little bit more, just a little bit. So what we'll do is squeeze both buns, so clench the behind, very good. Then take your leg that's off the chair, shift it forward just a bit. Woo! Now, whatever leg you step back, same side arm can go up. Maybe you hang on to the chair with the other arm, maybe both arms, maybe not, but press into that forward other heel to get the front body and the back body contracted. Stay here, breathe. Again, variation of warrior one posture. And release. Take that back leg forward, and then let's swivel over to the other side. Again, sometimes it takes a little playing around to get your bottom comfortable on the chair, right? Like, do I take the whole bottom off? Do I take some of the bottom off? There's no right or wrong answer. Just like, get comfortable, yeah? Again, shoulders over the hips, hips aligned with the shoulders. I just said that. Curly back toe, press into that forward leg. Take the hip, squeeze both buns, shift the bun forward a little bit, hang on to the chair, arm goes up. So this is also a seated back bend. Heart rate might go up. Let me see what mine is here. I can't tell. Of course not. Keep going. Oh, it's 112. Okay. So interesting. Okay. Keep here, keep here, keep here. Press into that forward foot, that back toes. Squeeze the buns. Shift that hip. And release. Yay. Okay. Come back to the center. So that was seated warrior. Find your yoga block. You're probably thinking, when are we going to use that yoga block? Right here. So we're going to place it again in between the thighs. Or maybe we didn't do it again. We haven't done it yet. All right. And then we're going to heel toe our feet in. So you feel that contraction of the inner thighs, maybe a bit in the mid-back. Kind of depends on your issues, yeah? And this is one that we've been doing for the past couple of weeks. So the objective is to not let your block move. So you got to use your own creative forces here. You can press firmly into the floor, kind of feel that inner thigh kind of going, ooh. But we're going to take our hands and play the drums. Don't let it move, though. Squeeze that block. Squeeze that ball. And release. So there's an issue that when we use postures with vibrational energy, it helps us get these muscles a little bit more working better, so to speak. So let's try that again. So squeeze the block, press feet firmly into the floor, sit up tall, and really squeeze as you start to play the bongos. Here we go. Don't let it move. Ah! Woo! And release. All right, release the block. Woo! Okay, so yay, vibrational energy. From here, let's do some 6 essential spinal movements. So I already did cat-cow standing. We're going to do it seated. So hands on the knees, and then curve your spine to the back of the room. Now keep your chin looking forward, eyes looking forward, so don't drop it towards your chest. That's for excessive kyphosis lordosis. Now we're going to slowly come back up to a tall seated place. It might be spicy. Go a little bit slower. So we've got that pelvic tilt happening when we do cat, when we go into mountain, when we go into cow pose. So from here, bend the elbows, hinge forward for your cow. So when you fold one piece of body over the other place of the body, it's supposed to be very calming for the nervous system. So like when you roll up into a little ball, or what we call child's pose, or knees into chest when you're laying on your back, it calms down, getting you out of the fight or flight into the rest and relaxation mode. So forward fold is a nice one for that. Let's come back up to tall seated mountain. Some little tools for you to, remember about, okay? And then curve to the back of the room. Curve that spine. So it may feel like your back is moving away from the spinal bones. At least for me. I've got scoliosis, so I always feel like, ooh, this feels nice for my my shifted back, my twisty shifted back. And then come up to a nice tall position. That was kind of spicy for me on my left side, so I'm always like super slow on that. And bend those elbows, hinge forward. So this one feels like I'm elongating from like my tailbone to the tip of my head. I'm just kind of like being a nice long, kind of at an angle line going on with the forward fold with the cow version of cat-cow seated on the chair. Come back to seated mountain. Very good. We'll do side lateral flexion. Again, it's spinal movements 2, 3, and 4. So inhale, circle, sweep arms up. And we're going to keep one arm up, and then either a hand or a fist sneaks behind you. And then you're going to inhale, reach, reach, reach. Now try to have your legs be stable. Don't let them drop in or out. Inhaling up and bring that side body over. You're bending that back elbow most likely to support this posture, this side lateral flexion. Let's bring it back up to the center and float the arm down. Let's do the other side. But first, we inhale, circle, sweep arms, both arms up. Sneak the other one back behind you. Get a little squeeze of that shoulder going on. My hand, my wrist there. Inhale, reach up, up, up. And I'm going to bend that back elbow to kind of have it come over just a little bit. And I always notice my legs do kind of go out. I'm always like, I tell y'all not to have your legs go out. But what do mine do? They do the same thing. Bring it back on up. Exhale, bring that arm down. Next is the last of the 6 essential spinal movements. It's called unsupported twist. So we work the upper back musculature when we do this posture. Why do we do unsupported twists? Because if you have back challenges, pain, when you take an opposite hand over to a leg or to the outside and you twist, that's usually a levered twist. In other words, you're pulling into the twist. I invite you, though, from your pubic bone to your collarbone, let your spine do the work. So how we do that, we do letter L, letter W arms. So we're squeezing this upper back musculature. Maybe you walk your feet in a little bit and press softly into the floor, not firmly, but softly. And then keeping the squeeze of the shoulders. We're first going to breathe in, belly big. Now, belly button tight. We're going to turn over towards one side. So we keep the chin aligned with the chest, so the head goes with the turn. You may lose the outside arm just to re-squeeze it. And again, breathe in, belly big. Exhale back to the center and release. So for a lot of folks kind of new to this is like too much to hold the upper back musculature contraction. But we take a little break. We're going to go back into it. That's all the break you get. Re-squeeze the shoulders. Tall posture, away from the back of the chair because you're using those tall posture muscles. Beautiful. Okay, breathe in, belly big. Exhale, belly button tight. Turn towards the other side of the room. Did you turn more? I did on this side. I don't know why. Stay here, breathe in. Exhale back to the center and release. Let's do that shoulder up and down. So again, that's a lymphatic drainage methodology. And just notice if you have a little excess sinus drainage going on when you do this. Before we start standing, let's go ahead and calf pump. So kind of up and down with those heels. We already squeezed the block. We already did seated warrior 1. We did the clam. We did the tapping. You know what we need to do next? Let's do some knee strengtheners and then we'll do the standing work, okay? So scoot it back. Scoot all the way back into your chair. And then from here, for the ligaments, the knees, all the stuff around the knees, we're going to lift a leg up and show me the bottom of your foot. Now, you may have to lift the leg if it feels weird on the chair. Toes towards you and release it down. Hover. Don't let it go down to the floor. And then point the toe forward and release. And so you're going to notice what's going on with your hip complex, your knees, your feet, right? And there might be some spicy stuff. Other side, flex that heel, toes towards you. If you need to lift up first. Again, toes towards you. Woo! And release it down. And then point the toes and release. Let's do the other. We're going to do this 2 more times. So flex the heel, flex the opposite hand. So we're using both sides of the brain here, a little dementia prevention. And release. And then point the toe, point the fingers. And release. Okay, other side. Flex that heel, flex the hand if you can, opposite hand. Woo! And release. Then we're going to point the fingers, point the toes. Point the toes, point the fingers. And release. Last time. Here we go. Flex the heel, both hands flex. And release it down, hover. And then point fingers, point toes. and release it down. Other side. Here we go. Both hands flex, heel flexes, and release. And then point fingers, point toes, and release. Beautiful. Next is standing up. I'm going to move my gear out of the way. So move that out of the way here to the other side of the room. If you need to take a drink, this is a time to take a drink. In fact, I'm going to get a quick little drink here. This can be sweaty work. Okay, got that out of the way. Again, I'm moving one chair out of the way, and then you don't have to turn your chair. I'm just turning the chair because I think, it's a good way to see what's going on with these next set of postures. So these are our leg swinging techniques, also some balance work, and for soothing that sciatica. So we're going to be standing behind the chair, hands on top of the chair. And the leg that's closest to me, your left or your right, basically you're just going to step it back a little bit. And the other foot, let's bring it to the back of the chair. Now, sometimes people have their feet like almost in a line with one another. So you may want to take that front leg and bring it out to the side a little bit. Bring a little width to this stance. Okay. From here, bend the knee that's closest to the back of the chair. And then, you may be feeling some hip flexor stuff going on here. Shoulders over the hips. Try not to lean out, okay? You're going to feel it more and more back bend going on with the shoulder in alignment with the hip. Whatever leg you step back, same side arm goes up. Maybe the other one goes up. So notice if you have a dance of the foot going on here. If you feel some wiggling, if you need to grip the chair, hand on top of the chair, or maybe you can release the chair. We're not making a judgment call here. We're just noticing what we notice, yeah? Bring the hand down. Let's take that back foot, step it to the back of the chair, and switch sides. So bring the other one back that same distance. Get the other one nice and set up. So again, shoulders over the hips as best you can. Bend the knee closest to the back of the chair. Notice what you notice when you have that heel firm into the floor. Same side arm is a leg that steps back, comes up. Maybe you're hanging onto the chair. Maybe you're not. This one's kind of my sway, where I sway side to side. Yeah? Notice what you notice. Heart rate does kick up because there is an element of back bend here. This is another variation of Warrior One, crescent lunge. Bring the hand down, take that back leg, step it forward. All right, we're going to do that again, but this time we're going to step it back even more, okay? So you stepped it back your regular distance, and let's go a little bit more, a little bit more. So we're laying down on the heel here, okay? So this leg that stepped back, it's a nice straight leg. I'm going to take the other foot, kind of hop it a little bit more towards the back of the chair, then bend the knee. Again, we're trying to have the shoulders over the hips here. Arm goes up. Maybe the other one does or doesn't. Maybe it hangs onto the wall if the wall's close by. Just notice what you notice here, okay? Is there shaking? Is there trembling? Is there wave-like movement? Is there none of that? And that works too. Bring the hand down, take that back leg, hop, step it forward. Let's do the other one. So step the other foot back, and then step it back some more, and some more. Lay down on that heel. Again, make sure you're not leaning forward, shoulders over the hips. Let's bend the knee towards the back end of that chair. Woo! This side, I notice, is tight. Again, whatever leg you stepped back, same side arm goes up. Maybe the other arm goes up. Maybe not. Maybe you're noticing the hip, the calf, the bottom of the feet, the chest maybe feeling more open. Breathing is a little bit easier. Maybe. Bring the arm down. Bring the leg to the back of the chair. All right, so for this next one, we're going to go back the original distance. So go back the original distance with the first leg. Okay, so we have that heel kind of down there. I'm going to raise up my pant leg a little bit. So what we're going to do with that back foot this time is we're going to lift the heel. So there's that toe stretch going on here. You're going to take your booty and roll it under. Okay? And the other leg is somewhat straight. It's not much of a bend, but there's a little bend. Same side arm goes up. Maybe the other one does too. Maybe not. You might notice some shaking going on here. Release the hand, release the foot. Okay, we're going to switch sides. So let's do the other side. Step it back that regular distance. Okay, now lift that back heel. You're on the ball of the foot. Very good. Now take your tailbone, roll it under, tuck it under. So you get a little bit more of the hip pushing forward. Same side arm goes up as the leg that has stepped back. Maybe the other arm can also go up. Mine can't. I'm like wiggling like crazy. Woo! And you're squeezing the bun when you tuck that tailbone, roll it under. Bring the arm down, release the leg. All right, and shake it out. Let's turn our chair, let me turn my chair to the front. And again, let me move this one out of the way. This one's the leg swinging technique next. So I'm making sure I have enough space here. What we'll first do is we're standing behind the chair, a little soft bend in the knees. We're really going to get into that psoas muscle, okay? So basically it's leg out to the side and back in. And we repeat that about 4 to 8 times. I'm looking at our time here. We're going to do about 4 times. So here we go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now some of us can hold the chair here at the center and we have pretty good balance. Some of us, like me, need to have the hands wider. Just kind of notice what your personality, your body personality is like. Let's do the other side. So here we go. Out to the side and in. 3, 2, and 1. Kind of walk in place there. Very good. So the next one is where we have the heel out, toes in. I'm going to have to move my chair a little forward to do this. And we bring it out and across. So out and across. Make sure you don't hit the back of the chair. And be aware of your hand placement because this one can get a little wiggly. Okay? So I'm going to have my heel out and I'm going to go out first and then bring it across. I can feel my back popping when I do this one. Let's do 2 more. 2 and 1. Woo! Walk in between just to let go of that muscle memory and be thinking about the other side. Heel out, toe in, come across. So here we go. Heel out, toe in, bring it up and across. Let's do 2 more. 2 and 1. Woo! Does one feel a little more spicy than the other? Let's see, that would be my left side. All right, so the next one is a little bit more complicated, where we bring the toe out, and as we cross it, we bring the toe in. So we're oiling that hip joint with this movement, by the way. And again, be cautious of where you're placing the hands. Don't have it at the center. If you feel a little wiggly, have it more out. So here we go. Out, toe in, toe out, toe in, toe out, woo, toe in. Let's do 2 more. 2 and 1. And then walk in place a little bit. Let's do the other side. So again, we're going to do toe out, toe in. So first is toe out. So bring it out, toe in as you cross, toe out, toe in, toe out, toe in. 2 more. 2 and 1. Woo! All right, march in place. So again, that was kind of oiling the hip joint here. Next is one of our chair Tai Chi movements. It's called the 3-point stepping drill. And you're taking, again, your toes towards the corner, the back side of the chair. We're going to root down, sink into the posture. So one of the things in Tai Chi is that they have something called the empty step, if you're not familiar with that. So it's not a weight-bearing step. So let's bend the knees, have the hand on the chair, maybe hand on the hip. And for this first one, it's straight to the front. So heel down, toe up. So you should be able to lift the leg and just gently place it here. You're not weight-bearing. And then you bring it back to the ankle. Then you go straight out to the side. Heel down, toe up. Similar to ballet moves, right? And back to the ankle. And then back behind you. Point the toe. Squeeze the bun. Back to the ankle. And then straighten the legs. So you try not to come out of the posture. You stay rooted down to the floor. We're going to do this next one 2 times in a row. Again, do what you can with what you got, right? So bend the knees. This time, go ahead and tuck the tailbone under. I don't think I mentioned that before. Hang on to the chair. So we're going to do heel down, toe up to the ankle, out to the side to the ankle, back behind you to the ankle. Stay rooted. Heel down, toe up to the front, to the ankle, to the side, to the ankle, to the back of the room, to the ankle, and then come out of it. The leg close to the chair, let's swing that leg to release that tension held in the body. Then either you go over to the other chair or to the other side of the chair. So again, I'm turned towards the corner. We're going to do that 3-point step first, and then we'll do it 2 times. So bend the knees, tuck that tailbone under, hand on the chair. Get ready for that 3-point empty step. Heel down, toe up, back to the ankle. Out to the side, back to the ankle. Back behind you, back to the ankle. Come out of the posture. So we work the legs in all these directions to keep the mobility of our body. Let's do that again. Bend the knees, tuck that tailbone under, hand on the chair. 2 times in a row if you can. Here we go. Heel down, toe up, back to the ankle. Out to the side, back to the ankle. Back behind you, back to the ankle. Keep rooted. Keep that knee bent. Here we go again. Heel down, toe up, back to the ankle. Out to the side, back to the ankle. Back behind you, back to the ankle. And come out of the posture. Take that leg and swing it. So eventually, you'll work up to not using the chair when you do these movements. Again, it's not weight bearing. There's no weight bearing in that empty step. Okay? That's what we're working up towards. Very good. All right, so next one concerns us doing both chairs. So this is our forwards and backwards walking. Now you can use a chair and a wall, or if you have a place in your house that has a long hallway. And so as we become vintage and more vintage, we tend to look down at the floor as we're walking. We're shuffling. We're not necessarily doing the heel ball toe, toe ball heel. So with the chairs here, our chin is parallel to the floor, and we basically heel ball toe, heel ball toe, heel ball toe. Now you're going to take a look at your feet. I'm going to hang on to my chair. See if a foot's turned out to the side or not. Yeah? And then you take your forward foot, toe ball heel, toe ball heel, toe ball heel. And maybe you're doing this without the chairs too, okay? Take that back foot, again, bring it forward, heel ball toe, heel ball toe, heel ball toe. So you use different muscles going forwards and backwards. You also use the brain a little bit more when you walk backwards. Toe ball heel, toe ball heel, toe ball heel. Now switch whatever leg is more further back, switch it to where you're going to bring the other one going forward. So back leg, heel ball toe, heel ball toe, heel ball toe. Take that forward leg, toe ball heel, toe ball heel, toe ball heel. So that's one of your homework assignments, forwards and backwards walking. You could do the 3-point step as a homework assignment. You could do that clam as a homework assignment. This next one is definitely a homework assignment. So take your second chair, and I have carpet, so this is pretty stable for me, but typically what you do is you put a chair up against the wall and a chair in front of you. It's the sit to stand movement. So we try to get to be able to do 10 to 12 in 30 seconds without the use of the chair in front. If you're not able to do that, the exercise to build up that behind, that leg strength, is doing sit to stand. So notice how you sit down. Do you hang on to the chair as you sit down or not? Now, because I was aware I wasn't going to use the chair this time, but and that sometimes it didn't happen. Now, what we try to do is have hands on the shoulders, and you kind of bring those feet in a little bit, and you basically stand. And you kind of notice, was there a bit of a challenge there? Did you grunt? Did you kind of really hold that core and lower it back down? Now, did you plop when you lowered down? Can you control it? So again, sit to stand can be hands on the chair to guide yourself to do this. Keep breathing. This often really kicks up the heart rate. Just know that, okay? So again, helps to lower up and off the toilet, helps to walk upstairs, helps you get in and out of the car. And do a couple of more as I come up to the front of the room. So that was homework number 4, by the way. And I'm just watching some of y'all that are doing this. You may notice the heart rate like really elevating. Oh yeah. I'm looking here. It's pretty high. 117. Wow. Okay. And then come to sit comfortably in your chair. You're probably going, yay, it's over. So again, the goal eventually is how many can you do in 30 seconds? Do you need assistance with a chair in front? Do you need the arms? Do you need your hands on the legs? Try not to like swing yourself up, right? So how are you able to go up and down? So that's like being able to age in your own home, so to speak. My mom's 98. She's still in her own home. So some of these things that we're doing in class today are inspired by her. All right, so from here, let's do our guided rest and relaxation part of our class. In Veterans Yoga Project, we do breathing, meditation, movement, guided rest, relaxation, and that gratitude practice. So when we coordinate the breath with the movement, that's kind of called a meditative practice. So what we're doing now is the guided rest. So your eyes can be closed, can be open, can be whatever they need to be. But all I invite you to do is just let go of your thoughts. And your eyes can gaze down at the floor if you like, or softly close. And I'm going to ask you to notice different places in the body. So when I name a place like your knee, bring all of your attention to your knee. Say in your brain, the knee, and then we'll move on to different places in our body scan today. So from here, I invite you to notice both sets of feet, the bottom of the feet and the top of the feet at the same time. So notice the left and the right foot, the bottom and the top of the foot. Okay. And then from here, notice the big toes of both feet. And then the pinky toes of the left and the right foot. From here, we're moving up the body. So notice the shins, the calves on the left side and on the right side. And then bring all that awareness, all of that attention into your knee joints. And then notice your kneecaps in the back of the knees. And then moving that into our upper legs, let's notice the quadriceps, the front of the legs, and then the hamstrings, the back of the legs, both sides at the same time. Good. Then let's notice our hip joints. Notice what you notice. There may be something or nothing going on there. And then notice the hip crease and the low buttocks, both at the same time. And then a little bit below the belly button, notice the low abdominals, notice the low back at the same time. From here, shifting your attention to your navel center, that mid back. And then I invite you to shift your attention to your heart, to in between your shoulder blades and the back side of the body. So noticing both the front and the back side of the body at the same time. From our heart center, let's shift our attention to the base of our throat, the back side of our neck. Notice those two places at the same time. Then let's shift our attention to our shoulders, to the front and kind of the back of the shoulders. And then let's guide our attention to the front and the back of the upper arms, those elbow joints, and the lower arms, the forearms. Then I invite you to notice both the palms and the back of the hands at the same time, both sides. Good. And now let's bring all of our attention, all of our awareness into our thumbs, index fingers, middle fingers, ring fingers, and the pinky fingers. And then from our hands, let's shift our attention to our chin, our jawline, the lower and upper lip, our nose. Notice the forehead. And then notice the crown of the head. Now from here, we'll do what's called an extended exhale breath. So basically what that is I'll clap my hands softly 4 times as we breathe in. We'll pause for a moment, and then we'll slowly exhale to a count of 5. So that helps us to reduce our blood pressure, reduce our heart rate, and to take us out of that fight or flight circumstance into rest and restorative. Listen to your breath, and here we go. Let's breathe in, pausing, and then slowly exhale. Let's take a big breath in right here. And then slowly exhale. Once again, everybody breathe in. Slowly exhale. Good. Now I invite you to come back into the now, back into the present. So let's wiggle some fingers, some toes, lift those heels up and down, maybe some little wrist circles, little flaring fingers here, I guess, yeah. And then bring the feet wide. Let's place our hands on the legs. Let's do some wide body circles just to bring us back into the present moment from being a little still to a little bit of movement here. And then let's pause and go the other way. Again, you may notice some little spicy areas. Go a little bit slower if you're encountering some spice. Very good. Come back to the center. We're going to do a little hand tapping sequence, and then we'll do our gratitude practice. So from here, we're going to take our sides of our hands and tap the pinky sides. That's for lessening headache, lessening vertigo. So this is part of what we do in our chair Tai Chi classes. We do a little of this energy tapping, yeah. This is the heart meridian that we're also addressing on this side. Next is the interwebs of the hands. So we'll be tapping into the interwebs of the hands. That's for digestive disorders, for lessening nausea. So tap, tap, tap. If you've got rings or bracelets, it's going to be kind of noisy. And then switch it. You've got to do the other side. We got to use both sides of the brains, okay? When I switch it, it's like, whoa, my brain goes, whoo, new neural pathways, please. All right, now it's the interwebs of the fingers. So if you've got rings, be careful, be cautious. Tapping the interwebs of the fingers helps with pain or numbness in the limbs. Now you typically interlace your fingers a certain way. You've got a normal way of doing that, right? So let's pause, wiggle the top finger, and then shift it to where the other finger's on top, and then go back to tapping. So that might feel weird. Any class I teach, it might feel weird. It will. All right. We're going to move on to the pulse points. So that's for heart cardiovascular issues. So you can, tap it like this, but I like to do up and down because then we get double the time here. And my watch is making some noise here. Ooh, my heart rate got up there a little bit, especially when we were doing that sit to stand. Also when we were doing that rolled in tailbone, back heel lifted, because a back bend, again, that was a back bend, will kick up the heart rate. So sneaky ways to get your cardio. Flip it if you haven't already. I've been talking, so I don't know if we flipped it or not. Okay, so this next one, remember when we swung the arms with the cupped hands? We'll keep the cupped hands, and we're going to tap on the back of the hand. That's for osteoarthritis and neck back pain. So if you got rings, curve it a little bit. So tap, tap, tap. Makes your veins pop out too. Bonus. The nurses in the class always talk about this one. Let's do the other one again. Osteoarthritis. Now I'm going to curve a little bit because I got a ring on that side. Makes a nice little sound. Now we're going to move it to the wrists. So that's for neck and shoulder pain. So again, tap, tap, tap. Not whapping, tapping. Switch it to the other side. Now I've got my watch here, so I'm going to be more on my back of my hand than my wrist. But I guess you can't really tell because I have it at an angle. But I'm just telling you. Okay, now make a fist. This is usually folks' favorite one. We're going to lessen stress, anxiety, improve clarity and consciousness. Pat your palm. You'll notice one side might be stronger than the other. And this one's louder for sure. Or I'm making it louder. I don't know. One of the two. Let's do the other one. Notice what you notice. Is one stronger than the other? It might be. Or one feel bonier than the other. I don't know. Depending on how you kind of can or can't bend those knuckles, those fingers, right? Clap the hands. Rub some circulation into those palms. Let's just do one more. We're going to tap our brain to boost our memory. So tap, tap, tap. Take it around the sides also. We usually do a scrub of the head, but a lot of people don't want to mess with their hairstyle, so tapping, it's kind of like the way to still get some stimulation there. All right, let's do palms up or palms resting on your chest for our gratitude practice. So let's think about one thing or maybe an idea of gratitude. And let's grab that, clasp that, and place it into our heart space. And I invite you to drop your chin towards your chest in gratitude of just showing up today. And again, think about that one thing that you're grateful for today or that idea of gratitude as we just breathe in and breathe out. So we've done a lot of stuff today. Again, I'll send out a video, a follow-up video, so if you want to review it before we go into our next class next week, that's really good to do. And then from here, let's lift our chin, eyes opened or closed, and I'll do our traditional sayings to end the class. You can have the hands together or stack the hands, whatever you like today. So the light in me honors and respects the light in you. Let's take the peace, the strength, and the understanding, a little attitude of gratitude, and let's pass it on. Namaste, which means the bright light in me honors and respects the bright light in you. This concludes our practice of chair yoga for fall prevention. Let me stop the recording, and then I'll undo the gallery view. I'll come up to the computer a little bit here.